You ever feel like we're all living the same quiet identity crisis? You did everything right, studied, worked, built yourself up, and somehow it still feels like you're behind? They call us directionless, lazy, entitled, millennials chasing dreams that don't pay rent, and Gen Z scrolling their way through an existential fog. We're told the economy is fine, that things are the same as they've always been. But when a bag of spinach costs the same as your Spotify subscription, it's hard to believe the problem is just us. What if we're not lost? We're just refusing to fake certainty. We grew up in a world that told us to follow our passion, then handed us an economy that punishes curiosity. We learned to chase freedom, but ended up trapped in our own self-improvement loops. Gym, side hustle, repeat, waiting for life to feel like it started. We were the first generation raised entirely alongside the internet. We watched global crises unfold in real time, argued with strangers in comment sections, learned what it meant to be human through live streams, breakdowns, and memes. Some of the most honest conversations I've ever had happened in late-night Discord calls, with internet friends from mentorship programs, where we'd end up talking about life, trauma, dating, the things we were too afraid to say out loud in the real world. And somehow, these digital moments felt more real than half the small talk I've had in the physical world. Even in the Neosphere comments, I've had people open up about their deepest wounds. Complete strangers telling me things that they never told their closest friends. There's something powerful about that, about being seen, even through a screen. When I saved up 70k in my 20s, I thought that was the checkpoint, the moment the game would finally open up. But instead, it felt like beating the Elite Four, and realizing there's no next quest, just more grinding, more levels. I think a lot of us feel that way. We've built stats, money, body, relationships, but we don't know what we're building toward. And it's not because you're weak or unmotivated, it's because the map changed. Our parents had clear missions: buy a house, raise a family, and then retire. We inherited a sandbox mode with no objective markers. And in that open world, the bravest thing you can do is stop pretending you know where you're going. Our generation isn't broken. We're just in a massive evolution phase. Like a Pokemon stuck mid-transformation, half Charmander, half Charmeleon. Too far to go back and too scared to evolve. But what if that's okay? Maybe confusion is the path. Maybe the identity crisis isn't failure. It's the loading screen before a new chapter. The truth is, we grew up watching institutions fall apart. Recession after recession, student debt, climate anxiety. The illusion of certainty broke before we even left school. We stopped believing that working 40 years for a pension is the dream. We stopped waiting for permission to build our own paths. We don't need to burn everything down to rebuild meaning. We just need to start telling the truth, that the system doesn't fit us anymore, that we want peace and not prestige, that we'd rather be aligned than admired. And slowly, that truth is becoming our quiet revolution. You can see it everywhere, in the people leaving 9-to-5s for slower lives, in the friends choosing therapy over status, in the way we're unlearning the idea that life is a race to be won. This isn't about weakness, it's about strength that doesn't need to scream. It's about choosing intention over inertia. Maybe the world we were promised doesn't exist anymore, but that doesn't mean we're powerless. Because every generation that came before us thought the world was ending too. And every time they built something new from the ashes, ours won't be remembered for revolutions in the streets, but for the quiet ones. The way we chose meaning over money, the way we create instead of consume, the way we still believe in something better, even when it's hard to see. So if you feel lost right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Because from this confusion comes clarity, and from that clarity comes change. We might be the generation that saves the world, not by fighting louder, but by living differently.